It's 2013, and Alton Towers is preparing to launch their biggest roller coaster yet, the Smiler. It's now only 3 months from opening, and they've just released a mobile game to the public as part of their marketing campaign. But just 2 years later, this game would suddenly be pulled from all app stores due to an incident that happened on the ride. Now over a decade since this happened, I found a sketchy download of the lost game. So it only has 1 Trojan, is that a bad thing? Decompiled it so we can look at the files, and even travelled 5 hours to Alton Towers itself to see if the augmented reality minigame still works. Also, thanks for 20,000 subscribers. First, I think I need to explain a little about Alton Towers. And don't worry, I'm not going to yap for 2 hours about what's happened in the 1800s. For reference, it was a big house of rich people and some grass. The park has a history of making rides with darker themes. One section of the park is called X Sector and has the design of a secret testing facility. This is where the Smiler would be built. The original theme was that of an abandoned hospital facility, but was later changed to the more colourful theming we see today. Maybe because a mouldy hospital was too similar to an actual NHS ward. In the marketing of the rides, the park did several interesting things, including projecting the ride logo on Big Ben, and even creating a 4-part mini-series showcasing the Ministry of Joy, the organisation behind the creation of the ride. The coolest thing they did was paint sheep. Also, why does this one sound like 2D from Grillers?
I thought it was quite funny, actually.
I was kidnapped by Murdoch.
As a fun fact, the Smiler game developers also created Grillers Escape to Plastic Beach. Now that I've segued into the Smiler game in the worst way possible, the first thing you notice on opening it is an epilepsy warning. I tried my best to edit out all the flashing in this video, but if you do want to see an example, I've linked the official game trailer down below. Because what better way to introduce the audience to a game than a seizure? After this, you're taken to the main menu. The first option is the game itself, which we'll get to in a minute. The AR mode doesn't work currently because I'm on an emulator, but we'll fix that later. The third menu is the ride, where you can see a model of the layout and several facts about it, such as the max speed and the number of inversions. The game starts with a surprisingly detailed cutscene, showing off 3 other rides which are in X Sector in real life. It's almost a bit of a time capsule as 2 of these rides no longer exist today. The goal of the game is to make it round the track and convert riders into smiling advocates. At the end of each playthrough, you can earn upgrade points which you can use to add things such as the Tickler and the Flasher, 2 Mistmen characters I never want to meet. If you're familiar with the Smiler, you might now be thinking, where are all the inversions? That looks nothing like the Smiler. And you're absolutely right. You can also use points to unlock all the elements of the ride. Up to this point, I've been avoiding the problematic parts of the gameplay because I need to first explain what caused the real incident. On the 2nd of June 2015, human error led to workers overriding a safety system, which allowed 2 trains to collide with each other. This should have never happened and could have easily been avoided if regulations were followed. I've highly oversimplified what occurred for the sake of this video, so if you want a full account of what happened, I've linked a well-made 3-part series by Nemesis that goes into full detail over the course of an hour. Now you have the context, we'll return to the video. The main aim of the gameplay is to avoid the train from derailing along the course of the track. If you fail to make adjustments while playing, the train tips and sparks go everywhere. When the train tips beyond upside down for long enough, it'll come to a stop and the game automatically ends. This game mode really isn't a good look, but what lies in the augmented reality part of the app is somehow even worse. Unfortunately, I had a problem. The AR mode uses the phone camera, but the app refuses to install on any modern phones because it's so old. Luckily, I still had my first phone I got when I was 15. It got stuck in a boot loop and refused to start. I was back to square one, but then I remembered the free lump of e-waste that came included with that phone. This is the Alcatel 8063, designed exclusively for parents to give to their kids to shut them up for 5 minutes. This thing was my last hope. So fast at loading the settings, guys. Do you see how fast this is? Oh, there we go. Oh my god. It loaded the settings. It was slow, but somehow installed and ran the Smiler game. All that was needed now was to drive to Alton Towers and see if it would work. In this mode, when you point your camera at certain locations, an animation will play, and some of these unlock upgrades. These points were dotted all around X Sector and the Smiler queue line. Several of these still worked for me. The main issue was the tablet's camera, which was so shit it was unable to scan anything that was further away. The ride broke down while I was queuing, so I spent that time playing the game. After getting to ride the Smiler, I finally scanned it. Yeah, that's probably not a good look. When you scan the ride sign, an animation plays of a Smiler train crashing through it. This has aged worse than milk stored in a greenhouse. I can see why this game was removed. The next day, I went into the game files to find all the points the tablet refused to scan. I also looked closer at the others, including the sign. The main game mode has corrupted slightly due to it being a much newer version of Unity, but we can still look at the track which shows all versions of the upgrades, as well as the train and its UI. There isn't too much else to see here, so I'll keep this section short, but if we look at the texture folder we can see images that flash up on screen in menus and the gameplay. One is the Mona Lisa as the Smiler, another is Dr. Kelman, the head of the Ministry of Joy. There's also this skull x-ray. Many other interesting textures are in this folder. Maybe I'll have to make a video on my second channel going over everything in the decompiled files. The Smiler game is really interesting to me. It has no microtransactions and was made entirely to market a real-life attraction. I played the game in 2014 and have fond memories of it, but to be perfectly honest, its replayability is awful and it gets a bit boring after a while. Many people don't even know that a Smiler game existed, so I really wanted to make this video about it. If anything, I'm just glad it got me back to Alton Towers, even if it did rain quite a bit on my visit. Okay, there's a possibly very small quantity of rain right now. It's very small. Thanks so much for watching this video. Over the past few weeks, my channel has kind of blown up. It's been a bit insane. And I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching and subscribing. It really means a lot to me. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.